Dark Water is an American remake of a Japanese film of the same name, but does it improve upon the original? It's also based on a book which is by the same author of The Ring. The movie itself is about a mother and daughter moving into an apartment block, and they are haunted by water, so to speak. There's not really ghosts in this movie. Yeah, when I was watching this with my girlfriend, she was like, is this movie about like pollution and like what it does to people? Because a lot of the shots in this movie are literally just shots of Manhattan, and it looking gloomy and kind of disgusting. I can understand where she was coming from with regards to that perspective, but as I've watched the original, I know kind of what happens later on. So it is a bit of a slow burn. It doesn't really pull you in. Like, all the characters are just kind of there. There's not really any like development between them. There was a story between the mother and the father because they're separated, and they're kind of fighting for custody of the kid. They get a lawyer involved, and the lawyer is probably the best bit in this movie. He's just good. He's just a good guy, and he helps the mother out when she's having difficulties, be it from regards to the plumbing, being it from missing girl and stuff like that. He's literally on the ball, and he's constantly helping her, which I actually really, really liked. And what else I really liked is actually a lot of the actors in this. Like, you had CJ Riley, you had the guy who played Abomination, you had the guy from Lost World, and of course you had Jennifer Connelly. I think all of them did really, really well in their role. I don't think I would have enjoyed the movie nearly as much if they weren't present. This movie was solely like enjoyable depending on their performance. If you had cast anyone else in these roles, I really, really would not have cared. With regards to the original, I watched that a little while ago, and it was like, well, it was essentially watching water drip. The basis of that movie was literally just having like the water drip, and then the woman seeing a ghost child in I believe it was a yellow coat. And like that's the whole movie until like the last 10-15 minutes of it. Now, this one does a bit better because it sprinkles a little bit of stuff throughout. You get an introduction with character, and like the mother is having difficulties psychologically beforehand. That's interesting, but I never really dive deep into that. It's just mentioned a few times. And then they talk about mental illness and stuff like that, which again I would have liked to seen a bit more of. As for like the haunting and the ghost portion of it, it comes to light more or less in the like last 30 minutes. It does good for what it is, but it's not necessarily an interesting take, I would say. I would say the original ending was really, really good to an absolute awful movie, and I would say this one was a decent ending to a fairly good movie. They both have their negatives and positives. If I was to rewatch one, I probably would have rewatched the American version because it was just horrendous watching the Japanese version. It was just awful. I'm tempted to get the book, but if anyone has read it, please let me know if it's any good, because I'm a huge fan of The Ring and I absolutely love that franchise. And then comparatively watching this and for the first time, I was like, what even is this? But yeah, they actually changed the ending in this one. It was still like the mother sacrificing herself, but instead of like having like a nice sweet goodbye years on end when like the child has grown up and stuff like that, it was literally done like 2 minutes after the mother died. I mean, in that world it would have been like a day after, but I feel like it was a bit too soon to be a send off, because like the mother had already interacted with her, so you didn't really feel like that. Oh wow, you've seen your mother again, it's so amazing. But it is what it is. That's my thoughts on the movie. Have you guys watched it? If you have, let me know your thoughts. And if you have done all three of them, the book, both the movies, like comparatively, what do you think? Do you think the book's better? Do you think the Japanese version is better, or do you like this one?